Integrated rice farming is a sustainable agricultural approach that emphasizes the holistic management of rice fields, integrating various components of farming systems to enhance productivity, profitability, and environmental sustainability. This method goes beyond traditional rice cultivation practices by incorporating elements such as aquaculture, livestock, agroforestry, and resource recycling into the rice farming system. The aim is to create a synergistic relationship among different components, resulting in improved resource use efficiency and overall farm resilience. Key components of integrated rice farming. Crop diversification. Introducing diverse crops alongside rice, such as legumes, vegetables, or other grains, helps break the pest and disease cycles, improves soil health, and provides additional sources of income for farmers. Aquaculture integration. Combining rice cultivation with fish farming in the same fields or nearby water bodies promotes nutrient cycling. Fish excreta serve as a natural fertilizer for rice, and rice residues provide shelter and food for fish. This symbiotic relationship boosts overall farm productivity. Agroforestry. Planting trees on or around rice fields helps prevent soil erosion, enhances biodiversity, and provides additional sources of income through the sale of timber or non-timber forest products. Livestock integration. Incorporating livestock such as ducks or chickens into rice fields can help control pests and weeds. The droppings from livestock also contribute to nutrient cycling, benefiting both the rice crop and the animals. Organic farming practices. Minimizing the use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides by adopting organic farming practices helps maintain soil fertility, reduce environmental pollution, and produce healthier and more sustainable rice crops. Conclusion. Integrated rice farming represents a forward-thinking and sustainable approach to rice cultivation. By embracing diversity and fostering synergies among different components, farmers can achieve not only increased productivity but also environmental conservation and economic viability. As the world faces challenges such as climate change and the need for sustainable food production, integrated farming systems like this offer a promising solution for the future of agriculture. It is crucial to promote and support the adoption of integrated rice farming practices to ensure food security, environmental health, and the well-being of farming communities worldwide. Integrating fishes and ducks in paddy fields eliminates the need for fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides in rice cultivation. Japanese farmers have already adapted this technology. The approach is now being replicated with substantial success all over Southeast Asia as an effective way to boost farmers' incomes, reduce environmental impact, and improve food security. In this video, we will try to explain everything about this amazing system using this 3D model. The ducklings provide integrated pest management, replacing pesticides and herbicides by naturally controlling predaceous pest populations and digging up or eating competing weeds. Fish and duck waste increases soil nutrition and maintains productivity levels. It is much more profitable than conventional farming operations. A normal organic rice farm would require significant human labor to keep weeds down and maintain soil health, but the ducklings' natural movement aerates the soil and strengthens rice stalks. The reduction of human effort supported by the process allows farmers to diversify their product base to include organic rice, fish, duck meat, and eggs, thus reducing their vulnerability to external shocks such as price fluctuations and potentially creating price premiums from attractive organic food markets. 4 fish species breeds, namely rohu, katla, mirror carp, and nilotica, were introduced in both parts of the land. No additional feed was supplied for the fish. Ducks of the Zending breed were allowed to graze in the larger part of the land. Keep male ducks and female ducks. The ducks were allowed to feed during the daytime and confined in a house constructed in the middle of the land. The duck dropping was found very effective for better growth and development of fishes. You have to make a compound or fence around your entire farm. I guess you are now clear on integrated rice, fish, and duck farming.
Integrated rice, fish, and poultry farming, apart from being helpful in generating some revenue, also helps in weed control by 40% and pest incidence by 30% in paddy crops. Resource poor farmers adopting low input agriculture are the main beneficiaries of this system. The simple reason is that it offers multiple benefits like biocontrol of pests, infestations, weeds, and better crop growth because the fish feed on the pests and insects attacking the rice plant, and poultry droppings are constantly washed into the field, making it more fertile and conducive for healthy crop growth. There is plenty of data available on rice fish poultry integrated model in several universities across the country. But if you study closely, you will find that in an acre, a pond would have been dug and a poultry cage erected over it. The paddy crop will be grown in a plot adjacent to this. There will be no connection to all three activities. But in our model, we have carefully planned to avoid such a gap and implemented it in such a way that all three are connected to each other. Replicating this model is quite easy. For example, in an acre, beneficiary farmers are growing paddy in 90 cents. They grow fishes like grass carp, common carp, rogu, katla in a trench on all sides of the field. In the remaining 5 cents, poultry cages propped up on concrete poles are erected fitted with wire meshes. The cage is erected in such a way that a part of the cage is above the water-filled trench and the remaining part over the paddy crop. A part of the bird droppings falls directly into the water as feed for fishes and the remaining on the fields as manure for the crop. During the single rice cropping season, about 5 to 6 months, poultry can be reared 3 times. Common NPK fertilizer schedule for rice is being followed as basal input, but farmers are cautioned not to practice split application of the chemical fertilizer as it may affect good fish growth. Also, as plant protection measures, neem kernel extract is used instead of spraying chemical insecticides. Compared to other livestock wastes, poultry wastes have inherent qualities that make them particularly valuable for fish and crop production. Poultry wastes are higher in nutrient than other livestock wastes. They have been found to contain less moisture, fiber, and compounds such as tannins that discolor water when used as fish pond fertilizer. For widespread adoption, maximization of potential, and effective pond management in this kind of farming system, here are requirements. Information on the volume of different animal manures that should be applied in the fish pond, the proper stocking density, water quality, types of nutrients in the pond and their volumes, and feed conversion ratio.
The integrated rice duck farming system is about growing rice and ducks together in an irrigated paddy field. The paddling movement of the duck stimulates plant growth, while duck manure naturally fertilizes the soil. The ducks also eat harmful insects and weeds, thus eliminating the need for pesticides and herbicides. Based on the experience of more than 1,000 rice duck farms in the Philippines, it has increased rice productivity up to 9 tons per hectare, while reducing the cost of production by 30%. It has also facilitated the growth of agri-enterprises along with integrated rice and duck industry value chains such as rice duck farms, duck breeder farms, hatcheries, duck meat and egg processing and retail, etc., all of which provide market-based solutions that increase the productivity, income, and overall quality of life of farmers and other value chain players. Duck eggs stay fresher longer due to their thicker shell. They are also richer in albumin and contain more omega-3 fatty acids. People who cannot eat chicken eggs due to allergies can often eat duck eggs. As a sustainable organic farming system, the integrated rice duck farming system eliminates the need for chemical fertilizers and synthetic pesticides or herbicides. Due to the elimination of synthetic inputs, the physical and chemical properties of the soil are improved over time. As much as 21% of greenhouse gas emissions worldwide consist of methane gas that is released primarily by flooded rice fields. This is because flooding cuts off the oxygen supply to the soil and accelerates the decomposition of organic matter, releasing methane into the atmosphere. Studies in China show that ducks in the rice paddies effectively reduce the emission of the greenhouse gas methane, ultimately contributing to alleviating global warming. 80 to 90% of the female ducks lay one egg each day, which is sold every 3 to 4 days. Egg sales are invested back to the farm to procure duck feeds and pay for labor. A portion of the sales is also set aside as income or savings for the organization. Fresh eggs can also be placed in an incubator to hatch after 28 days and sold to rice duck farmers. Even duck manure can be a source of income. In some of the breeder farms, the liquid duck manure is collected and mixed with rice hulls and sold as fertilizer.
Rapid human population growth poses many challenges, especially food shortages, malnutrition, limited means of irrigation, and shrinking land resources, besides deteriorating environmental quality. Sustainable intensification of agricultural production systems is needed today to address the ever increasing pressure on food and the environment. The integrated rice, fish, and duck farming system is about growing rice, fish, and ducks together in an irrigated paddy field. The paddling movement of the ducks stimulates plant growth, while duck manure naturally fertilizes the soil. The ducks also eat the harmful insects and weeds, thus eliminating the need for pesticide and herbicides. Integrated fish farming provides the option for getting extra income along with main crop. Though the system has proven profitable, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. Rice and fish farming is widely practiced in Asian countries when it compared to Western countries. Both fishes and ducks will control the insects and pests in the rice field. You can get extra income by selling ducks and fishes too. Even duck's egg has good market. It was also similar to chicken egg. These eggs have higher shelf life than chickens, and there is one more benefit. Here duck and fish excretors act as fertilizer for paddy. Studies shows that, in the system, farmers will get double rice yield than normal rice farm. In this model there is no requirement of chemical fertilizer and pesticide. If you use chemicals, there is a chances of death of ducks and fishes. Only thing you have to consider is don't let field dry. This design was made by Roshan Shetty. Here we made the design of 100 feet by 100 feet field. Fencing should be there to avoid ducks going out of the field. 4 duck sheds are made at all corners to ducks to take rest and to lay eggs. We made 5 feet wide canal all around the field. Both fishes and ducks can enter the field. This technology mimics natural ecosystem. Don't overfeed fishes or ducks. If you overfeed them, they won't eat insects and pests on the field. If you follow this model, definitely you'll get good profit.
About integrated coconut and fish farming system. Coconut farming. The coconut palm is referred to as cultivation, the tree of heaven, as each and every part of the palm is useful to mankind in one way or other. It provides food, drink, fuel, and timber. With good farm management practices, farmers can achieve maximum yield and decent profit as well. Coconut is cultivated in more than 93 countries of the world, and Indonesia, Philippines, and India are the major producing countries in the world. Fish farming. Fish is one of the favorite items on the food menu of almost 60% of Indians. So market demand is always high for fish items. If we consider the global demand also, the total requirement becomes very high. The main source of fish is from the sea. But the global fish harvest from the sea is decreasing rapidly. The only way we can ensure the availability of fish to meet increasing demand is through fish farms. Inland freshwater fish plays a major role here. With a good business plan and decision, we can convert this opportunity into a successful small-scale farm. Integrated coconut and fish farming. Integrated farming is a whole farm management system that aims to deliver more sustainable agriculture. Integrated farming combines modern tools and technologies with traditional practices according to a given site and situation, often employing many cultivation techniques in a small growing area. Coconut requires plenty of water. So canal irrigation system in coconut farming was getting popular. Already so many farmers adopted this technology. If farmers integrate fish farming with coconut farming, then they can get a good profit. In canals, they can grow fish very easily. At first, canals and beds are made with the help of an excavator. In the bed, you can plant coconut plants. In between those plants, you can plant pineapples as well. So, you can get much more profit. Then rear fish in the canal water. Selection of fish breeds. The selection of fish breeds plays a major role in the sustainability of the business. The decision should be based on market demand, maintenance point of view, availability of the resource, effective utilization of resources, etc. Carp items such as catla, rohu, grass carp, common carp, etc. are suitable for Indian ponds. Other breeds such as tilapia, catfish, etc. are also cultivated in Indian ponds. Polyculture, growing 2 or more fish breeds in the same pond is the suitable strategy for the optimum utilization of resources. You can get quality baby fishes from the nearest fish farmer or from the fisheries department. Bottom line. This is how you can integrate fish farming with coconut farming. Grow some other crops in between coconut plants. So that you can produce more food from a small area, at the same time you can earn more profit from your existing land.
Production of fish in rice fields is almost as primitive as the practice of rice culture itself. Rice farming with fish culture is a type of duoculture farming system in which rice is the sole enterprise and fishes are taken to initiate additional for extra income. Rice-cum-fish culture is practiced in many rice-growing belts of the world including China, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, and India. In this video we will give complete information on integrated rice and fish farming. Benefits of integrated farming or rice-cum-fish culture system. 1. Increases soil fertility and health. 2. Increasing the economic output per square meter of land. 3. Cost cutting in the manufacturing process. 4. Reduces the amount of farm input required. 5. Diverse sources of income. 6. Financial assistance to the family. 7. Efficient use of household labor. 8. Reduction in the amount of food that animals need to eat. 9. Reduce the usage of chemical fertilizer as much as possible. 10. Provides farmers with a well-balanced, nutritious diet. 11. Biogas is used to solve energy concerns. 12. Prevents forest deterioration. 13. Increase the number of jobs created. 14. There is no pollution in the environment. 15. Resource recycling. 16. Enhances the farmer's position and livelihood. Practices or technology in rice-cum-fish farming. Site selection. The site selection for rice-cum-fish farming is a low-lying area where water flows easily and is available at any time in need. Pond construction. For paddy-cum-brackish water aquaculture, the paddy plots should be well renovated. Water retention as well as keeping the fish and shrimp during the aquaculture process necessitate the construction of an earthen dike around the paddy plot. The dike height must be maintained between 50 and 100 centimeters, depending on the topography of the plot and the tidal amplitude at the location. For paddy-cum-brackish water aquaculture, the paddy plots should be renovated effectively. Water retention and keeping the fish and shrimp throughout the aquaculture process necessitate the construction of an earthen dike around the paddy plot. The dike height should be maintained between 50 and 100 centimeters depending on the topography of the plot and the tidal amplitude at the area. Flooding and weeding of paddy. After transplanting, the paddy fields were flooded. The water level was kept at 30 to 50 centimeters deep until the rice matured, with care taken to keep it at a minimum of 5 centimeters to facilitate adequate filtration. Weed management methods were implemented using a manual method that involved uprooting weeds on both sides of cultivated rice plots twice or thrice a week. Chemical weed control methods were eliminated or avoided to guarantee that materials or agents capable of polluting ponds or causing fish death were avoided to the greatest extent possible. Fertilization of rice fields. The plots used for rice-cum-fish culture are primarily based on organic fertilization with a variety of animal excretors such as poultry droppings, pig excreta, cow dung, and plant waste such as rice husks, a waste product of local beer, ashes from household brunt, and remains of burnt straws after the harvest is over, as well as compost fertilizers such as decomposed straws, weeds, and rice stalks, among other things. The rice crop was primarily fertilized with cow dung at a rate of 10 kilograms per 50 square meters biweekly. This was accomplished by equally spreading fertilizer throughout the fields from various points along the dikes. Source of fish seed. The progressive fish farmers normally produce the adequate size of fish seeds by rearing in small size ponds for a period of about 1 to 2 months and sell them to the farmers who grow them directly in paddy fields and farms. Stocking of fish seeds. Prior to the release of fish seed to paddy fields, paddy is transplanted from rice seedbeds to major paddy fields in April, and then paddy is left for 2 weeks to strengthen paddy roots before the release of fish seed at 2,500 numbers per hectare area. The paddy rearing period is 5 to 7 months, while the fish raising period is 3 to 6 months. Stocking of fish fingerlings. The fish fingerlings initially of mean weights up to 20 grams to 35 grams respectively were stocked at 200 fish per 50 square meters paddy respectively after flooding. Water quality monitoring. The water quality parameter was monitored on a monthly basis. At the refuge trench, turbidity was measured using a Secchi disc. A pH meter with a temperature probe was used to determine the pH. A multi-range conductivity meter was used to measure the water's conductivity. A dissolved oxygen meter was used to determine the amount of dissolved oxygen. Feeding of stocked fingerlings. Feeding of stocked fingerlings in the paddies began immediately after stocking at designated feeding locations. Once a day, the fish were fed. The fingerlings had to be given the required proximate composition and quantity of feed ingredients at the appropriate time. Growth rate. The growth rate of the fish in the pond was monitored by randomly arching them with a hand net. The fish were weighed and measured on time, and then returned to the trenchers. Feeding rates were changed as a result. Before each subsampling, the fish were lured in with food. The mean growth rates for the fish species were computed using Vane and Davis approach. Harvesting. Harvesting fish is done with a simple bamboo basket known as cane or bamboo. In the same season, fish cultured in rice fields for 3 to 4 months yielded 200 to 300 kilograms per hectare, whereas fish grown for 5 to 6 months yielded 400 to 500 kilograms per hectare. For harvesting, initially, the water is drained through an outlet pipe, allowing fishes and water to accumulate in the paddy fields mid-channel, where the fishes are captured using tussing puda, handpicking, and other methods, and then stocking in large plastic buckets in live condition. Following the completion of the fish harvest, paddy harvesting began. Paddy harvesting is usually done in the last few weeks of September and October. From the same plot of land, paddy production ranges from 3,500 to 4,500 kgs per hectare. Marketing. Because of high market demand, fish collected from paddy fields are sold live or fresh in the local market, with the market price changes during the lean season. Marginal fish farmers sell their catch at a fish market directly from the paddy field. The fish produced in these paddy fields enters the capital markets during the peak season. During the paddy and fish rearing period, no chemical insecticides, pesticide, or fertilizer are applied to the entire paddy field. Conclusion. Rice fish culture is an innovative farming system in which rice is the primary crop and fish fingerlings are used as a secondary source of income. Farmers' poverty is reduced as a result of rice fish farming, which improves yield, creates jobs, and increases nutritional consumption, resulting in food security. Farmers who are youthful, have a larger farm size, and stronger infrastructure is able to make higher money according to the farm-specific characteristics used to get income.
Welcome to Agri-Business Development Farming video. This video will guide you that how do you grow paddy and fish at the same time and earn more revenue with low-cost way. In rural area, the farmers have no alternative way with their limited land area. But when they produce paddy, then it is not sufficient to meet up their needs. Besides, they earn limited from producing this crop. For this real condition, in rural area, many farmers are interested to plant rice and breed fish in same time at the same land. So at first, we have to know what is rice-fish farming. Actually, rice-fish farming is planting rice and breeding fish at the same time because they will benefit from each other. Now, we will discuss about the process of rice fishing farming in rural area. We know that in remote or rural area, the farmers are very few touch with modern facilities. For this reason, the cost rate of producing rice is very high, so they earn very little from it. But if they take this process that is rice fishing farming, they will get extra many benefits. In rice fish farming process, according to the farmers, they first set out paddy in January. For this, it is better to plant hybrid rice. Besides the paddy land, they dig a small hole. After 2 months of planting the paddy, they release variety of little fish to this hole. These little fish spread over the paddy land. In 1 acre area land, they need 120 kg 4 to 10 inches variety of little fish. After releasing these little fish, there is no need to take extra care of it, and these fish are able to live in 2.5 to 3 feet depth length of water. But after cutting this paddy, there need very little food for these fish. According to the farmers, it is not very difficult process to maintain rice fish farming, and there is not much money to breed these fish. As usual, the paddy grows. Instead, the farmers reduce chemical fertilizer for paddy because this is fertilized by the natural fish feces. On the other hand, the fish eat the insects from the rice field, so they give very little food for this fish. Only the irrigation water is needed for these days. Afterwards, the paddy quality is better because the weeds and bugs are eaten by the fish. 4 or 5 months later, these little fish become 750 grams to 1 kg. When the farmers fish from this paddy land, the weight of these fish increases in double. And in this easy process and good technique, the farmers will get the extra earning.